Hi everyone, I'm Brune Smith and this is my podcast. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Brune Smith podcast. I am so delighted to get started. I've been thinking about this podcast for months. This podcast is for people who feel or do things a little differently. Just differently from what culture tells them to feel or to do. It's for people who don't see themselves reflected in their broader community or in the media. It's for people who want to slow down and focus on fewer but more important things, but don't know where to begin. This is for people who are tired of being told to be more or to do more. It's for people who have a hard time finding hope amidst the very real crises of today. For people who feel like someone else might have been at the steering wheel of their lives for long enough. It's for people who feel guilty whenever they feel good. It's for people who want to honor their inner voice but often don't because they want to belong. And listen, I'm the first person to do that many times throughout my day. But I believe belonging actually comes precisely from honoring your inner voice and not the other way around. So this is what I'm going to do on this podcast, in the hopes that you might do the same, or that you might reach out and say, hey, me too. And lastly, this is for me. This is to share the things I need to hear and remember. I am going to be in your ears every day, Monday to Thursday, with bite-sized episodes on a topic that I hope will be of interest to you. I am going to be in your inbox on the weekend with a roundup newsletter of the things I talk about on the podcast. That's on Substack, and you can subscribe in the link in the show notes. And I'm going to be in your Zoom living room once a month if you want to join us, this community of me and you all listeners, for a creative get-together. I am all about using your voice to create community. I'm all about creativity, and I hope you find something useful here. Some of the topics I'm going to talk about on this podcast might include, but are not limited to, neurodivergence, writing and creativity, taking the long view of time, finding your people in a new city or country, mental health, grief, friendship and remedies against loneliness, how to get to a state of relaxed concentration, the reading crisis and how to finish reading books again, and whatever else I'll feel might be of interest to you. Before I go, you might be wondering who I am. So here's a tiny bit of background. You might know me from Bodies of Stories, which was the first ever storytelling show to be held online, which I had created before the pandemic. It became collection of 20 of those true and personal stories that were told live on the show by international storytellers, very vulnerable stories and all the feels. You can find that online or in the show notes as well. You might also know me from my other podcast, Première Personne with Brune Smith. Only I and the title of that podcast are French. Première Personne is a podcast of interviews I did of people who, using one medium or another, told their story and then invited other people to do the same, to create community and make people feel seen. All right, my friends. I am sure I'll get a ton of opportunity to let you know a bit more about myself. But for now, I'm going to tell you, see you tomorrow, talk to you tomorrow. If you'd like to subscribe to the Roundup newsletter, it's on Substack and in the link in the show notes. Thank you for being here and talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now. Ooh, one last thing. Please subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you're listening. This helps me tremendously, and this way we can really create community together. If you think this might be of interest to someone you know, please send them the link to this episode. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.